So hello again. We're back with more fun stuff to talk about.
Because that didn't sound like weird and creepy. And we're back to stab you with the machete I'm hiding behind me.
You said I had to introduce it today because it was my idea.
I did.
So now you're gonna complain about the way I introduce things, right?
Yep. That's how that goes.
So, as we're getting ready, I was searching on my television for something to be background noise, basically. And I had DirecTV, so, I have tons of channels. And we have Boomerang, which plays all the... Like, in the 90s, it used to play everything from, the 60s.
Yeah.
But now it's...
Now it shows from the 90s.
Now it shows from the 90s! And it's one of those things where you're like, wait, what? Why is this show on here? I remember watching it not that long ago. So, what was on within the next few minutes was SWAT Cats. And I was like, oh my god, SWAT Cats! I love SWAT Cats! So I put it on. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh, that's what we'll talk about this time. We will talk about...
Something you've noticed.
Something I've noticed that happened a lot in the 90s was anthropomorphic animals.
All over the place.
Everywhere. There is... And it's not just SWAT Cats. If you don't know the cartoon I'm talking about, it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. SWAT Cats is anthropomorphic cats, obviously, from the title Cats.
With a K, though.
With a K, though.
Not too confusing.
Because that happened a lot in the 90s.
Look, we know the sound letters make.
Right?
Let's switch it up.
And it's not just cats. There were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Great cartoons.
So that one was in the 80s, but it carried over to the 90s.
Yeah, my brother's first birthday party was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I don't know why I brag about this, because I wasn't born until a year later, but it still counts.
Totally. You were there in spirit, watching.
Going, yes, I will be born into this family. Mm-hmm. They like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
There was a lot of ducks, too. There was Darkwing Duck. That was the first one that pops to my mind because I've been obsessed with it recently. There was, DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck. Mm-hmm. There was The Mighty Ducks, superhero ducks from another world or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
They also played hockey.
They also played hockey, of course.
That's always what I remember the most is they
can play hockey.
They played hockey. They were great hockey players.
Mm-hmm.
Don't discriminate against the ducks.
I'm not discriminating. My mom had a crush on the leader duck.
There's a lot of ducks. There's also things you wouldn't even think about, like sharks.
Sharks. Street sharks.
Oh my! I watched that religiously.
Oh my god! I remember that.
But and then I found it. It's on Netflix right now. So one of these days, we plan to go have a 90s cartoon marathon, whatever we can find on Netflix.
Watch it all. Maybe not all. Watch it all.
And then there's things I was thinking about too. Was it's not just real animals. There's also the gargoyles. Gargoyles aren't real animals, but they're kind of based off animal demon-like things, but then they're also stone statues, but they still came to life and were anthropomorphic creatures. Mm-hmm. So, it's just the full spectrum of anthropomorphic.
Oh, and then, the Little Mermaid cartoon, where it was half fish, half person, and fish were sort of anthropomorphized.
They were personified.
Personified, there we go.
Not anthropomorphized.
Similar.
They were just given human qualities, not made to be humanoid. Grammar lesson, or vocabulary lesson.
Or concept lesson.
Concept. Whatever, you learn stuff, see? Listening to us makes you smarter.
Oh yeah, don't forget Howard the Duck, too. That's another duck.
Never watched that. Oh, that's the other thing I remember too. I watched all the time. It wasn't just anthropomorphized animals, it was robotic animals.
That too, yeah.
Transformers Beast Wars. My favorite Transformers cartoon. I don't know why I like the original ones. I guess because I'm not that into cars, and I never really was. So the fact that they were cars, I was like, yeah, cars.
Right, or you watch Power Rangers. The original Power Rangers, where they turned into big hulking humanoids, and then that wasn't cool enough, so they made them animal robots. Does anyone remember that?
I do, actually.
Like,
yeah.
I remember like cranes and bear. Like there was the yellow bear and the pink.
Because the first
falcon.
The first season was, they would fight, and then they'd have like they'd come together to build that robot thing, and that was the first movie.
Yeah.
Then I think by the time they got to the second movie, I think they were into the animal thing. They had to go find their animal
spirit. That's
thing.
right.
Yeah.
They went to the random planet.
And they one was, I think the Yellow Ranger was a crane.
No. She was a bear.
That's right.
She was the bear.
Was the blue one the crane?
I think the blue one was the crane.
Anyway, so yeah,
it was Black Toad. Remember that?
That's right.
Red Falcon, I think. Forgot. I don't know. Somebody was a wolf.
Anyway, the point is that they, instead of turning into this robot person, they then turn into robot animals.
And then a robot person.
And then the robot animals would come together and make a robot person, because that's how that works. And then, speaking of the colors, to get even more confusing, later on the green one became the white one. Because that was necessary.
The red one didn't become the white one?
No.
Who became the... That one got confusing.
The green one, because the red one was the leader till they brought in the Green Ranger, who was
and then
they brought him to the good side, because he was under the spell.
Yeah.
And then after that, the green one became the leader, and then later on he became like super leader, and he became the white one. Yeah, no, don't argue about Power Rangers.
No, of course not. But I remember they brought in to bring in more kids into the Power Rangers. They made one of the Power Rangers an actual kid. Swapped out the blue one for an actual kid, who then grew into an adult to karate and fight. And I remember that. I remember that from the movies.
Oh,
yeah,
movies.
Yeah, from the movies, and then it translated into the actual TV show, which I stopped watching after that movie, basically.
Yeah.
I watched it for a little bit, and I was like, I'm done.
So, off the Power Rangers topic, back to anthropomorphic animals. And then, going on, progressing, you have all those... Oh, this other one we forgot was Thundercats.
Oh, Thundercats, that one too.
There was Thundercats.
Oh, because that one's back now.
Yeah, remade it. So yes, has anyone else out there realized this trend in animals being humanoid in the 90s?
There's this love of... I don't know.
You know what else there were? They weren't anthropomorphic, but they were personified, was the Rescue Rangers and...
That's right, the Rescue Rangers and
what was the other one? There was two.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. It's not coming to me. Oh my gosh, just so many personified animals and creatures, and then anthropomorphic animals and creatures, or humans turning into animal or humanoid animals.
Yeah, because that's what the Street Sharks was the four brothers got in some experiment.
Yeah.
I can't remember the entire concept. Oh no, you're right. There was injections. I remember.
Yeah, they got injected by something.
They got kidnapped by the evil scientist doctor guy, and they got injected.
They wanted his dad. They wanted their dad, right?
Their dad was super genius, and they wanted the dad. So they took the sons, and they injected them, and they all turned into different kinds of sharks, and then they couldn't turn back. And
who turned into a hammerhead? Somebody had to be a hammerhead, right?
One of them was a hammerhead. One of them was a great white, but instead of being a regular great white, he was blue with purple stripes. He was the oldest one that was the leader. Yeah. And then, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to go relive our childhood.
And there is that thing, too, that I want to talk about, is that 90s nostalgia that everyone's been having lately. If anyone else has DirecTV, you'll see late on Teen Nick, they do 90s Nick, late at night, where you can watch, All That, and Kenan and Kel, and the Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Doug. And that's all they're really playing right now. I've been waiting for Are You Afraid of the Dark? And they played it for a month, and I kept missing it. And I was like, no, I love that one. That was the one I loved, even though I was a baby.
Yeah, see, I didn't have cable. I had cable for a year or two as a kid, and then when I was at the babysitter's, she had cable, but I had to share the TV with other people, so I didn't always get to watch the Nickelodeon and all that stuff. So I didn't watch a lot of that. I watched Kenan and Kel. I remember watching that, but mostly
Dexter's Lab is back too.
Mostly what I watched was what was on, just basic TV, Channel 5, Channel 11, and all those channels. So, like, I watch things like Mighty Ducks, Street Sharks, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, because those are all those Saturday morning cartoons.
Right.
So that's what I grew up on.
So that fun. Again, but there's all this nostalgia for the 90s.
We had good shows.
We did have good, like, I'm watching a lot of our shows, and I'm like, oh, and you'd be surprised by how many, like, adult jibes that are in certain shows. Like, I was watching an episode of the Rugrats, and something had been said, and I went, wait, that's a sexual innuendo. Like, I was, like, floored by what had happened. I was like, okay, I didn't get that as a kid.
Well, you're also kind of slow when it comes to that. I'm not gonna.
Alright.
I'm surprised you got it this time around. Just saying. I have to explain everything to her. Then she gets all offended because I explain it so, like, point blank. That was so blunt. Well, you didn't get it the first time.
Anyways, aside from the 90s, I'm wondering why besides that, some of our shows were really good, some of our shows were not so good. I'm going to admit it. SpongeBob was made in our time. SpongeBob was still made in the 90s.
I disown.
SpongeBob was still made in the 90s, so...
Disowned. No.
Okay.
Disowned.
Okay.
See, I disown SpongeBob because my sister was born in 98, so she's not a 90s child. She did not grow up in the 90s. She was 2 at the turn of the century, and she cannot remember the 90s, therefore it does not count. I was born in 91, totally different. And
I was born in 90.
So my sister and my cousin that's a year younger than her, and, you know, those kids, they're the ones that watch SpongeBob and all that stuff. So I disowned that. That was not 90s. That was not true 90s. Yeah. I was later. So disowned.
And I think that's the reason why everyone wants to go back to the 90s, because I have seen some of the shows for today. There are very few that if I was a parent I would let my kids watch. I would let them watch Phineas and Ferb.
Good show.
Okay, I would let them watch
Fanboy and Chum Chum.
You know, I would let them watch that one. That one is stupid, but I would let them watch that.
Oh my, but it's better. Like, you have to be intelligent to get the stupid humor.
Unfortunately.
As much as that makes...
And the geek humor. You know, there's so much geek humor in that show.
So much. And Josh Duhamel does a voiceover part in it.
So, you know.
So, it's totally legitimate.
And I will let them watch the new G4, My Little Pony. That's a cute one.
And it's a topic for another video.
That one is.
New generation of My Little Pony.
We will not go into that because that is a fun topic.
You know what shows we are missing in our list?
What?
We're missing Ren and Stimpy.
Oh yeah, Ren and Stimpy.
Cow and Chicken.
Cow and Chicken.
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog. Oh my God, Cat Dog.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So there's more that we are missing. Oh.
I know. We're literally missing a ton.
Yeah. Like,
comment us. Tell us what we're missing.
Yeah.
If you were born in the 90s and you know what we're talking about.
Or if you are like my sister, like 98 counts. I was 90s, and you have to Google all these shows. But if you still know them, go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead, comment, let us know what we missed. But yeah, I remember being a kid. Like, one of the first cartoons I remember watching is Ren and Stimpy, and I watched it recently, and I was like, I can't believe I was like 3, 4, 5 years old watching this cartoon. But I did.
Oh my God. The cartoon creeped me out when it was on TV.
Oh no, I thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I watched it now and I went, oh my God, it's so creepy.
But like, I am so sensitive to the way like certain cartoons are drawn. I'm just like, ugh. Like, Invader Zim freaked me out, but I always watched it. Ren and Stimpy freaked me out, but I watched it. The early Rugrats really freaked me out, but I watched it.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me?
You're just special. So, back to the topic at hand, 90s cartoons, specifically anthropomorphic and personified animal characters in these shows. So, comment, let us know what we missed, what you think. If you are a 90s kid with 90s nostalgia, like the rest of us, and what was your favorite show? What was the one you can remember watching the most, and what is the one you can remember watching that you've seen recently and you can't believe you watched it as a kid?
Oh yeah.
For me, it's Ren and Stimpy. Anyway, we're gonna go now. So comment, let us know what you think. Bye.
Bye. Talk about 90s nostalgia.